Well, we know that no one hates women more than other women.
And you would know, being an unrepentant and rabid misogynist yourself, but I have a feeling that you're not here to talk about you, so hit me with it.
And in a recent study that will be shocking to absolutely no one, the results showed that male students show more tolerance for their political enemies than females show for their own allies.
What she's talking about here is a report out of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, a nonpartisan group that primarily works on college campuses to advocate for issues related to freedom of speech. The specific data that she's referring to here isn't actually a product of a study, but rather a survey. That is a meaningful distinction because there's only so much that we can claim from the results of an unscientific survey. All that said, she is correct about what the survey appears to show, which is that when asked about whether particular people should be allowed to speak on campus, for example, somebody who is advocating for the banning of all access to abortion, or somebody who proclaimed that Black Lives Matter is a hate group, the most meaningful distinction wasn't an ideological one. Left and right-wing students were about equally likely to say that their ideological opponents should not be allowed to speak. Rather, they found a powerful distinction based on gender. Regardless of ideological commitment, women were much more likely than men to say that somebody should not be allowed to speak. Again, though, this is a survey, it is a self-selected group of respondents, and they are not asked at any point why they are answering the way that they are. We should absolutely avoid making sweeping generalizations or reaching strong conclusions based on this data alone.
Being a man is what makes you more tolerant. That's literally it.
Yeah, so that is in no way supported by the data here. Only one of the hypothetical speakers was very explicitly and directly speaking to a women's issue, but I'm more inclined to see here that women feel more directly threatened by the hypotheticals that were posed. And so when a cisgendered white guy like myself sees the prompts that were being offered, we don't see ourselves directly implicated, much less threatened, in any of the examples that are given. Where a woman who sees reproductive rights on the ballot is, I would suspect, then primed to empathize with the people who are coming under threat in the other examples. If not, be prompted to imagine how the people targeting them, speaking hate against them, could come for me next.
I think the only people who will fight the results of this study are liberal.
So based on the fact that, like I said, there was no meaningful difference between the censoriousness of one ideology or another, I kind of feel like you didn't actually read this. Nobody hates women quite like a woman who doesn't understand and can't be bothered to do the reading.